What do the owners of extraordinary businesses know that the rest don't? Now, here's the answer to the question, guys. Contrary to popular belief, my experience has shown me that the people who are exceptionally good in business aren't so because of what they know, but because of their insatiable need to know more. Wow. You know, if anybody were to describe me and if you were to say, John, you know, how do you want to be known? What do you want written on your tombstone? Here it is. He was a student. That's it. And never stopped learning. I never got to a place where I know everything there is to know. That's funny. You've got to have that burning desire to know more. That's what exceptional business owners do. Okay, I want you to get out 3 sheets of paper. We're going to go over 3 different models today. And the first model is the GROW model. And I simply want you to take a sheet of paper and I want you on the left side of the sheet of paper, top down, write the word GROW, G-R-O-W. Now, what I want you to do on next to the letter G is I want you to write down your goals, not your goals today, but what were your goals when the beginning of the year started? So this is a great time to do this exercise because we're in the first week of July or the second week of July or whatever it is. And we're going to take a time out just to look at our business and where we are, and not just our business, but our life and where we are halfway through the year versus where we want to end the year. Now, what were your goals that you set at the beginning of the year? If we're talking real estate, how many homes did you want to sell? How many listings did you want to take? What was your GCI goal? What was your net income goal? If you're talking personal life, what kind of memory making moments did you want to have with your family? Where were you going to go? What were you going to do? Okay. Now, those are all your goals. The R is reality. So that is where you are today, right? So back to real estate, if your goal was to close 36 sales at the end of the year and you've closed 12, then are you tracking 36? Yes or no? No judgment, just a question. If you've closed 12 and the goal was 36 at the beginning of the year, are you tracking? And everybody here knows the answer is no. Of course you're not, because in order to be tracking, you'd have to have 18 closed by the end of June, and you have 12. So the next question is, what's the gap? What's the gap between where I want to be and where I am? Now, the next question becomes, what are the obstacles? That's the O. All right. So now we're 3 letters into this model. We're down here on O. And what are the obstacles that are standing between where you wanted to be at the beginning of the year and where you are today? What's standing in the way? Interest rates. There's no homes for sale. Fewer people are buying. I don't have enough money for marketing. I don't like to make cold calls. I can't close from a phone call to an appointment. I can't close from an appointment to a listing. Whatever the obstacles are, don't lie to yourself. Write them down. Now, that brings us to W. And W is the way forward. In other words, it's the prescription. This is what we're going to do in order to remove the obstacles. Because if you don't remove the obstacles, where will you be at the end of the year? Same place you are right now. If you don't remove the obstacles, where will you be in 5 years? Same place you are right now. If you keep doing what you've been doing and expecting a different result, it's a definition of insanity. In order to get to better, you have to get to different. So how are we going to remove these obstacles? Well, hire a coach. There's one. Spend time studying your craft. In other words, you're a real estate agent. It's your job to know the real estate market better than anybody else. Now, I'm not the smartest person in any room that I go in. However, anytime I went into somebody's house and I sat at their kitchen table, I was confident that I knew the local market better than anybody else because I studied it. I studied it daily. I was a local economist of choice. I was a strategic pricing professional. I understood marketing in order to attract the right buyer. I know the difference between the right buyer and any buyer. And we have to remove these obstacles. This is our prescription to move forward. If you go to the doctor and you say, hey, doc, this is what's going on, she's going to ask you some questions. And at the end of the appointment, she's going to say, okay, here's what's going on. Here's a what. Here's a what. What is she going to give you? She's going to give you a
prescription for medication or prescription for treatment.
Yes, she's going to give you a prescription, Manny. So your prescription in real estate is, this is the plan in order to move you forward. Now, the next model that I want you to draw is the 4-quadrant model, present positive, future positive model. So in the top left box, you're going to write the word present positive. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take some time and I want you to write down where you are, everything that's going well. If I were in an appointment with you, a coaching appointment, I would ask you, Deborah, what's going well?
Coaching, managing my time.
Okay, girl, way to go. And I would ask you, tell me a little bit more about your business. Where are you? How are things going for you? And this is to all of you. How are things going for you? And you're describing where you are. You're describing present positive. Now, the next question I would ask you is, where do you want to be 5 years from now? Not a year from now. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? It's called future forecasting. And just like they said in the video, when you go all in and it's not a bet, this is a destination that is assured. This is where I want to be 5 years from now. And I'm on this journey with a destination that is assured. I've gone all in and it's not a bet. I know I'm going to reach the destination. Okay. What does that look like for you? Where do you want to be? What does the future look like? And why is that important? So if I'm in a coaching appointment and I ask this question thousands of times, what I typically hear, one of the most common responses that I hear is, I want to go from $5 million to $20 million in sales. Cool. Good for you. So that's $15 million increase at 3%. That's $450,000. Now, Valerie, if I were to put $450,000 on the table and I said, it's yours, you've earned it, what are you doing with it? What are you doing that you're currently not doing because you can't afford to do it? Listen to the answers, guys. Listen to your own answers and then ask yourself, why is that important to me? What would that do for me? How would my life change when I'm living this future positive life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Why is that important to me? What would it do for me? Now, guess what? Can you go from present positive to future positive like that? Can you go straight to future positive without passing go? Can you just go straight to future positive? The answer is no. You have to go back to the GROW model and ask, what are the obstacles? What are the obstacles that are standing between where I am and where I want to be 5 years from now or 10 years from now? In the future, present positive, future positive, these are your present negatives. These are the obstacles that are standing between where you are and where you want to be. Again, be honest. Write them down. Don't take any shortcuts on this, okay? Write it down. Now, here's what's going to happen. If you don't remove the obstacles, guess where you end up? Future negative. Which means 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're pretty much going to be exactly where you are today. If I were recruiting Valerie, because this is a recruiting conversation too, I would go to her and I would say, hey, Valerie, that $450,000 extra income you earned and all of those things that you were going to do, you no longer have that money and you're no longer doing those things. In other words, give it back. How does that feel? If you find yourself in the same place you are today, 5 years from now, are you okay with that? Hopefully the answer is no. Hopefully you're here. I don't have to ask, you're in this group. So every single one of you want to grow. You want to learn. You want to be more tomorrow than you are today. You want to be in a better place tomorrow than you are today. You are on a journey to grow, to learn, to master life and leave a legacy that changes lives. And to be exactly where you are today, 5 years from now, would be one of the most devastating things that could ever happen to you. Bunny trail alert. One of the things that I have the biggest challenge with is people choose to do this. They choose to do this. They choose to settle for mediocrity when mastery is an option. They choose to live a mediocre life when living an amazing life is an option. They choose by saying things like, I'm happy, I'm comfortable. Translation. Good enough is good enough for me. All right, one more model. Okay, I want you to, on a piece of paper, I just want you to draw a line down the center of the piece of paper. Now, whenever you start out doing something, this is you. You are working entrepreneurially. In other words, you are doing what comes natural. And you've heard the saying before that so-and-so is a natural born salesperson. Okay, so what that typically means, Chandra, is they have a higher ceiling of achievement than other people do, right? Most people start out with a ceiling achievement that's here, and maybe they start out here, but they still have a ceiling of achievement. They're still going to reach a level of production where they're hitting their head against that ceiling and they can't break through. Now, what does this do? It leads to frustration. It leads to resignation. It leads to looking for greener pastures. If you don't break through this ceiling, it is flat out exhausting. Trust me, I know. I went 2 years hitting my head against this ceiling, looking for the solution. This doesn't happen overnight every time. Sometimes it can, but most of the time it won't. Now, the solution to break through that ceiling is to become purposeful. You have to go from doing what comes natural, from doing what's easy, to being purposeful. Hire a coach. Change the way you do things. You can't get to better if you don't get to different. Start time blocking your calendar. Create standards that you're going to hold yourself accountable to, and do the work that you're going to need to do in order to get where you want to go. That is the only way to get there. Nobody ever hoped theirself or positive feelings or positive thoughts themselves through that ceiling. The only way to do it is do the work that needs to be done in order to break through the ceiling. Now, I don't want you to hear, and I'm going to close with this. I don't want you to hear that I'm telling you the answer is to work more or even to work harder. Not what I'm saying. Success is not the result of how many hours you work. Success is the result of how much focus and energy you put into your time. Take this as a challenge. Please don't hear ego. I can work 30 hours a week and outproduce every single one of you. Prove me wrong. Nothing would make me happier. All right, talk to me.
When you say energy, what do you mean by energy? Do you mean energy? What does that mean?
Okay, think of yourself as, well, energy is energy. Energy cannot be created. Energy exists. All right. It can only be transferred or transformed. Now you have a level of energy within you that is maximum energy, or you have average energy. You ever hear, excuse my language in advance, you ever hear somebody say they half-assed it? Okay.
They didn't give it 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Energy is giving 100%. All you can do is all you can do. And at the end of the day, all you can do is enough. When you do, all you can do.
So does that transfer into knowledge? Does that transfer into phone calls? Does that transfer into making it happen?
All of the above. It's really
All of the
up to you.
above.
It's really up to you. You know,
Okay.
you define this the way you want to define this, but ultimately, Deborah, you choose the destination. You choose the destination by what you do daily. It's those daily activities that determine where you're going to end up.
How you do those daily activities determines where you're going to end up.
Well, that too, but it's doing them. A lot of people don't even do them.
Because energy doesn't transform into the how.
No.
Energy transforms into the why.
Yeah. All right. I love hearing from Deborah. Deborah, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
Everybody else, please be Deborah.
John, what about rewarding yourself when you hit certain goals? Is that something part of the plan as well?
So Nathan, I play golf every Friday, right?
Yes.
And I have a standard for that. I have to hit certain standards through the end of the day on Thursday in order to play golf on Friday. So it's a reward and it's a consequence. When I hit my standards, I play golf. When I don't, I don't. So absolutely celebrate every success, every win. Think progress, not perfection. Page 71 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the 9 ways a millionaire real estate agent thinks. More than 9 ways, 71 ways. It's a whole bunch. I forget now. That's page 71, 9 ways. Think progress, not perfection. So Nathan, yes, celebrate. And success for you is different than the next person, right? Success doesn't mean you hit my goals. My goals don't mean squat. My goals for you don't mean squat. It's your goals for you. All right. I don't see anybody else, any other hands up. So guys, I hope you got value today. This is recorded. It will be on Survive to Thrive Facebook page. Please go watch it again. Please do the exercises that I showed you today. And take a look at where you are halfway through the year and just have an honest conversation with yourself, right, David, on where you want to be. What are the obstacles that are standing between where you are and where you want to be? And what are you going to do in order to remove those obstacles? All right. All right, guys, make it a great day. See you tomorrow. Until then, go get it.
Thank you, John.
See you tomorrow.
My
Thank you, John.
John.